variety pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Eat North Variety Pack. If you haven't watched the show before, this happens every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our new episodes. Our show is a mixed bag. It's a ton of fun. We talk food, we talk drinks, music, culture, and more. So with that said, it's going to be an amazing episode today. Let's bring on my two co-hosts, Mairlyn Smith and Deepi Harish. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Lovely to see you, albeit virtually, but I'm sure you both look great. And Marilyn, that hair, I'm living for it.
I love it. I'm channeling Pebbles from the Flintstones. My bangs are like down to here, so now they're up here.
Well, I don't think I've ever had bangs in my life, really, so I definitely envy that. All right, so we're going to have a chef from Winnipeg coming up soon. We're going to chat with her a bit about Food Network series and running a restaurant and whatnot, but outside of the Food Network, there's actually two major culinary competition shows that are premiering next week. One is the Great Canadian Baking Show. One is MasterChef Canada. Do you two watch those shows? What do you think of them?
Miracle.
I love competition. I'm a very competitive person. I would love to be on the show. I did a black box once and I was like so focused and insane. And so I really love competition shows. I'm just a complete sucker for them. So yeah, I can't get enough. So I'm thrilled that they're both back on.
And you, Deepi?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I love hearing the asshole comments from judges sometimes. I think it's entertaining. It makes great TV. I also like seeing what the actual challenges throughout the show. I like to see how the contestants kind of come up with their ideas.
I definitely think that those shows, it's really easy to get into, right? Because I feel like a good culinary competition show has a lot of drama. Although having said that, Great Canadian Baking Show normally does not have much drama. It's more about the drama of having to prepare a multi-tier dessert or something that's really, I guess, expert in the technique. But outside of that, I think it's really funny too that a lot of people that watch these shows don't realize that they're actually filmed in a really short time frame. So, these contestants are basically sequestered and they film the show in 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and then it gets to play out over the course of 3 or 4 months. So I think that's definitely an interesting part of it.
For sure. Speaking of culinary skills, I want to ask you two, is there anything that you want to master in the kitchen that you've tried many times but you still can't master? Let's start with you, Dan.
Well, I'm a terrible baker. I feel like I say that quite a bit on the show, but I tried making macarons once, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was such a horrible experience, and they turned out so poorly that I would never ever try to make them again. So I feel like that's just one I kind of just let it go, and I'll just pay the $3 a macaron, however much they cost. How about you, Marilyn?
Macaron. You know what? I don't know. I mean, I have so much fun cooking and I don't care if it doesn't work. But the one thing that I've never been able to master, like Julia Child, was not to cry when I chop onions. And I want to be able not to wear those dumb onion goggles and just like chop, 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 chop. But I am like like I can't even see. And is it mind over matter? Like I remember that part in Julia and Julia, where she was crying and then she did it. And I don't know how I can't do it.
I think, isn't there a trick about if you soak it in water first, the onion, and then you cut it after?
You're supposed to put it in the fridge. You put them in the fridge. They don't taste as good. So what the hell?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard the fridge trick can work or at least help delay the sort of burning sensation in your eyes for a while. It depends how many onions you're cutting, of course, as well.
Yeah. Okay, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little sidebar. Scott and I don't celebrate Valentine's Day because we it's a ripoff. We call February the 15th our Valentine's Day. Scott goes and buys all this stuff 50% off. So
he must really love you. That sounds like true love.
Like we don't do any of that stuff. I guess it's because we're like, it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
But this year's even more different. So I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, I can't even think of anything exciting to cook. I'm actually getting sick of cooking. So, what are you guys? Are you gonna celebrate? Are you gonna like what the heck? What's going on with you guys?
I mean, I've never been into it. I agree with you. I think it's gimmicky. I don't like to sponsor corporate big holidays. And I think it's not as fun when you're obligated to buy a gift on a certain day than it is to like buy it spontaneously, you know?
I suppose. I feel like I
Good to have
do.
different opinions.
I do like holidays like Valentine's Day, and I will say restaurants across Alberta are able to reopen on Monday. So I know some of them are doing Valentine's Day dinner specials, and a lot of them are getting booked up quickly. So I think if anything this year, I'm looking forward to going out for dinner on Valentine's Day since we haven't been able to for basically 2 months.
I am so jealous.
Yeah, me too.
And excuse me, I guess to you 2 months is not that long because you've been waiting even longer. But yeah, it's crazy how long it's been since I've sat down for a really nice elevated meal. But.
Yeah, I hate.
It's been longer for us, so you should have sympathy for us.
Yeah. Seriously.
All right. Well, with that said, I think we should bring on our first guest. She's a chef and restaurateur based out of Winnipeg, Christa Bruneau-Guenther. She owns Feast Bistro, which is a modern Indigenous restaurant in the city. And she was actually on 2 seasons of Wall of Chefs, which is a popular Food Network Canada show. So let's bring Christa on to say hello. Hello, Christa.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We're really excited to have you. So I know Winnipeg has been going through similar lockdown restrictions to many other provinces. So what has it been like for you right now as a restaurant operator, especially in this time of year in the winter?
It's definitely been a challenge, to say the least. We're kind of just pivoting every day, every week, trying to come up with creative ways of getting more revenue flowing to sustain jobs and keep our customers happy. Lots of takeout. Really amping up on our baking and a lot of grab and go meals. And we're just day by day getting through it.
That's all we can do, right? One thing that I love about you and how you run your restaurant is that you definitely keep food security front of mind. And it's very important for you to connect with the surrounding community, but also to give back in many ways. So can you talk a bit about why that is one of your main mantras?
Well, I've come from the school of hard knocks. I know what that world looks like very firsthand. A lot of my own family members still kind of have issues with food insecurity. So it's something that I've always been passionate about. And now owning a restaurant, I mean, what does food security mean? It means that everybody should have access to healthy, good food every day. And unfortunately, it's a sad reality that in Canada, there are many communities and people that still suffer from food insecurity. Mm-hmm. So owning a restaurant gives me an opportunity to maybe try and bring light and influence and give back in that way. So anyone who owns a restaurant, there's a lot of food that, you can only serve after a period of time. Mm-hmm. That's still good. Or if you're doing a catering event and there's a bunch of food left over, a lot of it tends to go in the garbage. So I just tried to look for every opportunity to use that food to give back. So if we're doing an event, we'll ask our client, can we take these leftovers, and we'll drive down and we'll feed the homeless and converse with them and enjoy their company. Or if we have food to donate that's gonna, we can't use, we'll do that. We do a lot of community initiatives, and that's the beauty of having a restaurant. You get to use food to help others.
I love that.
That's amazing. I actually went to this one competition where they took the pulp that was left over from a juicer, and the competition was all about making fun cocktails with all the pulp. So I really appreciate no zero waste. And my question for you is, so what are Indigenous ingredients that are near and dear to your heart?
Well, I haven't eaten beef in a very long time. It's kind of a specialty now. I eat a lot of bison or wild game when I can get my hands on it. And so I really love to promote our bison. And I mean, it was almost extinct, and it's something that hasn't been enjoyed for a very long time. So to be able to honor that animal both at home and in my restaurant, and on my restaurant menu, I have all bison. There's no beef. So that's a true honor for us. And I mean, the bison teaches us resilience and perseverance and strength and courage. So, I'm a huge vegetable fan. I have a garden at home. I grow a lot of our traditional vegetables and herbs and medicines. So I really enjoy squash. There's so many different variations, beans, corn, our medicines, and some of our herbs. So I would definitely say squash and bison are my 2 top for sure.
Right. And I recently read an interview where you had mentioned that one of your focuses is to make Indigenous ingredients more accessible to everybody. How are you able to do that? Or how are you doing that?
Like through the restaurant, you mean?
Just through the restaurant, exactly.
Yeah. There's only a handful of Indigenous restaurants in the entire country that really promotes traditional foods and people and culture and community. So it's a great platform for me to highlight those traditional ancestral ingredients that people may have overlooked before and reclaim that as part of our heritage and our history. So, a lot of the ingredients on my menu are items that are easily accessible, that people are maybe familiar with, but trying to integrate them as many ingredients into, say, one dish, like our powwow tacos, for example. There's bison, 4 kinds of beans, corn, maple in the drizzle. So, there's 4 or 5 bison as well. There's like 5 Indigenous ingredients, plus, of course, the bannock crust. But just trying to promote as many and highlight them and talk about them and share the nutritional value with our customers and people.
Those tacos sound amazing.
Oh, they're so good. I actually had one the other day, and I haven't had one in a while. I forgot how good they are.
All right, Marilyn?
I love how you have honored your roots and your heritage by you went back to your elders to ask for their recipes. My grandma made an amazing sausage roll, and I never got a chance to ask her how she made it. And it's a recipe that I'm sad that I've lost to my roots. Are there some recipes that you are so thrilled that you found? And then what are the recipes that you're sad that you never got?
Yeah, there's a little old cookbook. It's only about this thin that has been passed down in our family. I've probably altered a lot of the recipes because they were so extremely simple. I mean, some of the ingredients were maybe 3 or 4 ingredients. So it's just great for inspiration for me to have access to those recipes. But I think Indigenous cuisine, it's been somewhat hidden or preserved. So it's just now where people like myself or other Indigenous chefs in the country are able to revamp and redevelop and, write a new chapter on those recipes and ingredients and kind of taking them to that next level. So there's not any in particular that I wish I didn't know. I'm really glad to have been taught how to make bannock. I know it's such a controversial thing to talk about, but I love baking. It's who doesn't love baking? I mean, if you have kids, that's the only thing that they ever want to do when they're young. I mean, baking is something special to making bread, and that's our native bread. So to have been able to learn to make bannock, because it's very tricky. I'm really happy that I was able to learn that recipe, and very well.
Yeah, I tried to make bannock. I'm not so good. So I think you need to actually publish that recipe or do a YouTube video on how to make it. When you look at your childhood and you see where you are right now, did you imagine that you were going to be a chef and have your own restaurant and be a spokesperson for Indigenous foods? Like, did you see that, or was it something just sort of happened?
Absolutely not. It was never a dream of mine. I've never gone to culinary school. I'm not a trained chef. My previous business was a licensed daycare that provided care for children with child-specific needs in our communities. It's where I developed a lot of my recipes. It's where I reconnected to my culture through food. And so it's just nothing I ever dreamed I would ever be in this position. It just happened and the opportunity came. And I think I've just been at the grassroots level for so many years. I've learned so much. I've come through so much. I've seen a lot. I've beaten a lot of odds, we'll say, with just where I've come from. And so that brings a lot of knowledge and compassion and empathy and understanding that I get to bring into my business and what I'm doing. And, I just took everything I knew at home in my home kitchen and brought that into this commercial kitchen and learned the hard way in a lot of ways. It's a lot different to feed a family at home and feeding hundreds of people a day. So it's nothing I ever thought I would do. And I'm just blessed to have this opportunity to share.
I love the fact that you and Mendel Hitzer are on Wall of Chefs, because this, I don't know, this is a fun fact or not a fun fact, but in the history of Food Network Canada, there has only been one other chef on a major like multi-episode series, which is Top Chef Canada Season 1. So you're one of 3 Winnipeg-based chefs that are getting featured. And what I also like about Wall of Chefs is that they actually really aim to showcase the diversity that can be found in the restaurant industry. So how do you try and kind of convey what you're all about, you know, Indigenous cooking? How do you try to convey that through a show like Wall of Chefs?
Yeah, I showed up for that show. I gotta say, I had a big lump in my throat because, you know, I didn't know who else was going to be there. I didn't know Mandel was going to be on the show. I show up and I see, you know, some of the chefs that I've admired. I mean, I learned how to cook from Food Network. I used to watch all the time. So to show up and see Christine Cushing and Mark McEwen, and to know that I didn't know they were on the show, I could not believe that I was actually, you know, participating in a show with them on the wall. And to see another Winnipegger, I mean, talk about representing Winnipeg, that is awesome. But to be a home cook turned restaurateur, to be invited on that show was amazing in itself. But to see somebody Indigenous on Food Network was also really great. That door is finally opened. I've never seen, aside from one chef on Top Chef who was competing, so never really seen any Métis or First Nation for the hospitality or culinary industry. So that was a really great opportunity. But it was. I probably should have spoke up more and stuff. It was really intimidating.
But I think it's exciting because, you know, there is now this new wave of, you know, Food Network Canada personalities or whatever you want to call them, and you're included in that. And I feel like the channel will be all the better for it, because before virtually every show lacked diversity. So I think that if this is a sign of what's to come, I think it's going to be a really great decade for the network.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Indigenous culinary and cuisine, and I'm still learning every day. There's just so much hidden, I guess, information, and I learn from elders and from my own fellow Indigenous chefs more and more each day, and I'm integrating a lot of what I'm learning into some of my foods and dishes. And so I think there's so much to learn about the land and land-based teachings and Indigenous food knowledge, and it's an exciting time to be part of that.
Absolutely. And, you know, we talk about Winnipeg every so often on the show. I'm a huge fan of the city. It still, to me, seems like one of the best kept secrets in Canada. I feel like a lot of people haven't experienced it, but can you speak to how vibrant the food scene is there? Food, art, music, everything, actually. I think Winnipeg is an amazing place.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, and I think it's just so multicultural, and there is such an amazing food scene here. It's you know, I've traveled quite a bit, so I've had an opportunity to, you know, eat food around the world because my husband's a pilot. So and whenever I come back to Winnipeg, I feel so lucky to be here because we have such a diverse food scene. And it's good food, and there's so many mom pop places that are really authentic, and the art and the music, and so. It's I can't wait for COVID to be over so we can enjoy all that again.
I agree. And I will say one thing that I think Winnipeg does better than anybody is you make winter fun when it is not warm at all. And Festival de Voyageur, I know, is not happening how it normally would this this month, February. But I think Winnipeggers, just you guys, you love skating on the river. You know, you can skate for 10, 12 kilometers. It's amazing. So I think whenever we complain about minus 10 or minus 15 here, and I go to Winnipeg and there's thousands of people on the ice in minus 25, I really appreciate that. I'm not joking. I'm being serious.
Hours ago, and it was blowing wind like crazy. It was pretty cold, but we did it.
Awesome. Love that. Well, Christa, thank you so much for chatting with us tonight. It was great to just get your perspective on things and chat with you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me.
All right, welcome anytime. Thanks.
Wow, she's great.
Great conversation. And one thing that I like about her, although we've never met in person, is You know, I interview a lot of chefs in my work, and a lot of them you can see in their eyes when they are hungry for Food Network fame. It's pretty easy to tell, and I feel like she's someone that definitely comes by that honestly, and I feel like it definitely shows on screen and off.
Yeah, she's the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, I love Winnipeg. I've been to Winnipeg so many times, and they are so friendly that they're license plate friendly Manitoba. They're not lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not been to Feast, and so the next time I go, I am going to head over there and indulge in some bison.
Well, do you want to be let in on a little secret? I feel like maybe the only place where people are not friendly might be Toronto. No shade. No, you're both very lovely. Anyway, I digress. We're going to move from the interview to a lovely acoustic performance. Next up, we have Justine Vandergrift. She's a Calgary-based folk singer, and she's currently nominated for Album of the Year at the Country Music Alberta Awards, which are happening at the end of the month. So we're going to have Justine play a song, and then we're going to chat with her after. Justine, take it away.
All right. I'm going to play Stay, which is the title track of this new album. Take your heart like a drink off a tray and play the part, 'cause we wrote it that way every year. That goes by doesn't change the way you feel. I'm alright with highs and lows in a place. Only you and I know, but I'm true. Wait around for a better kind of you. If you wanna go on hiding from yourself, would you be so kind and take me off your shelf? In times like these, and turn and walk the other way, till you find something that makes you wanna stay. Play for keys, or don't play it at all. Why'd you cheat when you were just gonna fold? But I don't care now. I don't care about the games you're playing now. 'Cause I'm on fire and I can't be burned again. This desire, it's got me spinning, moving on, finally knowing how much I gave to you. If you wanna go on hiding from yourself, would you be so kind and take me off your record shelf? In times like these, you turn and walk the other way, till you find something that makes you wanna stay. 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 If you want, go hide from yourself. Would you be so kind and take me off your shelf? In times like these, you turn and walk the other way, till you find something that makes you wanna stay.
Amazing job.
Thank you.
Oh, you know, I've listened to that song many times. Your whole album is absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thanks so much, Dan.
How does it feel to be nominated for Best Album of the Year in the Alberta Country Music Alberta Awards? I keep forgetting to change the name.
Yeah, it's really awesome. A total honor and new to me. I mean, I've been in the kind of the folk music scene for most of my career, kind of playing roots in folk music and festivals like that. But I really do feel that my Alberta roots and there's a bit of a country vibe to what I do. So I thought, why not play in that on that playground, I guess.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's cool. And it's been it's like the Blue Jay sessions have been incredible for that. Just meeting incredible artists who are super inspiring and really, really warm people that are doing really cool things with their careers. So yeah, it's exciting for sure.
To follow up, I was going to say, what would it mean to you to win Album of the Year?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful. It would be really just something great to put on my website, on my resume, and I think it would probably open up some more opportunities for me to record more. And I've had a lot of time to write during the pandemic, so I've got an album in the works. So I would just kind of love, grants and some kind of support to be able to do my next album. So hopefully this nomination will help with that whole process.
How did you find out that you were nominated? Did they call you? Did you get an email? Like somebody phone and say, hey, I heard?
Well, actually, Dan was the one who let me know.
I did.
Really?
I wasn't really following the process, but now I do get the regular emails. So then I'm seeing that, there's just more and more being announced about it. But yeah.
It's really exciting, I think. And not to get too serious before we end off the show, but obviously I assume you saw the news about Morgan Wallen using a racial slur and all of the backlash that's been happening with him. I think it's really important that artists in all genres are vocal about inclusivity and diversity, which is something that we strive for when we do Blue Jay Sessions, the event series. But can you speak to how you try and incorporate that into your day-to-day life?
Yeah, that's a really big deal to me.
Deep question too. Yeah.
It's a big question, but I mean, I'm studying psychology right now, and inclusion is one of the topics that I'm learning a lot about, and from like an academic perspective. Mm-hmm. But with my art, I really, and in my songwriting, I try to be really honest about my humanity, and I'm not perfect, and no one's perfect, but I think it's just really important for people to take care of their mental health, take care of their own well-being, so that they won't ever be in a position where they would say anything that would hurt someone who's different from them. So it's kind of it's really disappointing when stuff like that happens, because to me, artists are supposed to be role models, and we're supposed to be the opposite of that. So I mean, I strive to learn about all of these really prevalent issues in our culture, and in the arts. The arts in Canada especially do a really good job of being inclusive of all sexualities, religions,
race, gender,
everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. And
I just want to say one more thing, though. I have a solution to the onion cutting thing.
Okay, we'll take it.
I used to wear. I mean, it's kind of a big one, but if you ever wanted to get into wearing colored contacts, that might be a kind of a fun thing to do, with the benefit of not crying when you're cutting onions. Because I used to wear contacts that, they might have been like, they were maybe a little too big for my eye. And I found that when I was cutting onions, I never cried. And when I stopped wearing contacts, I just cry like crazy. So.
Okay, I'll get them.
And watch next week. We'll all have different colored eyes. I'm like, thanks, Justine.
That'd be cool.
All right, and the last question: Restaurants in Alberta open again on Monday. Is there somewhere you're really itching to go?
Yeah, you know, I actually live close to a pizza place in Bankview called Actually Pretty Good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a funny name that it's called Actually Pretty Good, but I really enjoy their food, and I'd love to go there and sit in. Actually, to be honest, I would like to go anywhere. Sit in a restaurant anywhere and just enjoy a good meal. And I'm actually looking at the Concord Valentine's Day opportunity too. Like that, the food looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think I'll definitely go out on 17th somewhere and go sit down and have a drink somewhere.
Absolutely. We all deserve a pint of beer every now and again. So anyway.
Yeah, we do.
Awesome. Well, Justine, thank you so much for closing out the show. It was a beautiful performance and always nice to chat with you. Yeah,
likewise. Thanks for having me, you guys. It was nice to hear you guys chat too. It was really a fun conversation.
We try our best. Anyway, that brings us to the end of another episode of Eat North Variety Pack. We are back here next Thursday night, actually with Mariah Stokes, the talented singer that sings our theme song. So thank you again to Marilyn Smith, Deepi Harish, our guest tonight, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Eat North Variety Pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.